Against such a backdrop of bummers, motorcyclists had one small reason to rejoice. One of the Japanese manufacturers finally got it right. That manufacturer was Honda, and the motorcycle in question was its exquisite, jewel-like CB400F. The Café Craze American homage paid to a distinctly European notion was still in full bloom, and a small band of dedicated enthusiasts bought and fitted to their mounts uncomfortable yet racy clip-ons and rearset footpegs in hopes of emulating their brethren overseas where there were no speed limits, and everyone rode as hard as they could at all times. Unlike now when corporations employ legions of marketeers to identify and cash in on trends as they develop, some 20 years ago manufacturers responded to trends in somewhat the same way an elephant responds to a mosquito bite. A vague notion eventually registers that something is happening, and the response might be neither quick nor entirely appropriate. With the 1975 CB400F, though Honda nailed the bullseye, the 400 simply looked perfect, with just the right understated amount of chrome, monochrome paint in blue or red, no stripes, foofraws or furbelows. For its trouble, Honda got a motorcycle that could at least be mentioned in the same breath as the fiery two-strokes in the middleweight class. With quarter-mile times in the mid-14s, the 400F was almost a second quicker than the 350F and slightly quicker than Suzuki's GT380 Triple. But it was slightly slower than Kawasaki's KH400 Triple, and almost a half-second slower than Yamaha's reigning Road 350 Twin. The Road and CB put out almost the same horsepower, but the RD was a telling 51 pounds lighter. In handling, the CB400F came up short against the Road, lighter weight, slightly better suspension and quicker turn-in. But the Honda offered for the day a stability that endeared it to many. From Cycle March 1975, the 408 inspires confidence by providing a stable platform for carving down a winding road. Unfortunately, the buying public was not as smitten with the CB400F as were the enthusiast press. Part of the problem was the sporty riding position so loved by the magazines and cafe cultists. Riders less interested in grinding off the metal balls on the ends of the pegs hated the 400F ergonomics and either fitted a higher handlebar or simply stayed away altogether. Honda sold a fair number of the 400F, but by the time the company got around to fitting a higher bar and more forward-mounted pegs for the 77 model, it was too late, and next year the 400F was gone. It didn't help that Honda was making little to no money on the Little 4. According to Jerry Wood of J. Wood & Co. Auctioneers, the reason Honda discontinued it is they did a cost analysis and found out they were selling it for a loss. It actually cost them almost as much to produce the CB400 as it did the CB750. While the little 400s couldn't find that many homes with street riders, more than a few found their calling on the racetrack, especially those fettled by Kaz Yoshima. An alumnus of Honda Japan's R&D department, Yoshima had opened his own shop in 1975 and decided to focus his attention on the CB400F as a means of self-promotion. Yoshima eventually used Carrillo rods and a GL1000 oil pump rotor to make the engine survive. Thusly equipped, and with his 492cc pistons, cam, pipe, and some select HRC pieces, the little CB was a 135 miles per hour plus giant killer. Riders weaned on modern machinery would be horrified by the CB400F rather narrow performance envelope. Not to put too fine a point on it, the CB400F riding position is roughly akin to being stuffed fanny first into a 55-gallon drum. The steering geometry, short wheelbase, 18-inch diameter wheels, and high CG yield steering that's at once quick and clumsy at speed, the suspension rarely responds to bumps in any useful manner. The hydraulic disc front brake rewards high effort with little stopping power, and the engine revs to its 10,000 revolutions per minute redline with agonizing slowness. As with most any period piece, Honda's 20-year-old CB400F best rewards more casual efforts. Rides are best spent appreciating the work that went into creating the intricate little four-cylinder, unique in its day. The mum-hum of its exhaust and its significance in the motorcycling firmament, it goes something like this. The CB400F was a bold move for Honda, but not a particularly risky one. It marked the first time that a Japanese motorcycle manufacturer successfully captured the Euro sporting look, but cosmetics are relatively inexpensive to produce, and the majority of the bike's hardware came from the defunct CB400F. Honda chose the middleweight class to debut the look, not the higher-profile 750 or open classes. The market for a rather expensive 400cc multi would be naturally small, so if the experiment failed, little would be risked.